Does it mean I've been screwing up the whole time? No, but it means I haven't been doing it as well as I could. I've been missing pieces. That's why it's dangerous. Like, I might know a lot about things, but I'm always going to be missing pieces. I'm never going to know everything. There's no such thing. You couldn't possibly know everything about anything. It doesn't work that way.
You just said we haven't screwed it up long enough, but in the beginning you didn't know that was the recipe, is like go screw it up long enough. And here's the problem. If you start screwing up and you can't consistently show up when you screw up, you'll never get the breakthrough.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. Today, for episode number 1843, I think it's probably going to be titled, What Kevin Wish He Knew About Dream Chasing, because Alan said he wanted to ask me some questions about chasing a dream and what it means now versus what it meant back in the day. Also, shout out my sincere apologies to anybody who sent us a message on Spotify. I've been out here jeffing, and I wasn't looking at messages because I didn't really know where they went, and I wasn't logging into Spotify. So if you ever find something that I say funny, or occasionally Alan, hypothetically, let's say that happens. Once in a blue moon, you get a little giggle out of Alan, and you want to leave us a comment, and you're listening on Spotify, if you're on your phone, there's literally a little form that you can fill out, or a little button right under the episode title or something like that, and I'm going to see them all, and I will be responding to all of them. So yeah, if there's anything that piques your interest, makes you giggle, let us know, because I think one of the things that has benefited us the most as a podcast is getting to know our audience. So we're always just a message away. Go ahead, sir.
What about our YouTube folk?
If you're watching us on YouTube, you can always comment below. We'd love to hear.
You see all those?
I see them all.
Nice.
Yeah. And I will do. So if Alan ever responds, it'll have Alan's name, but if I respond, it'll say whatever the response is -Kevin. That's how you know it's coming from us. I promise.
So Kevin is what we call the DRI, the directly responsible individual, for the YouTube comments and the Spotify comments on this podcast.
Yes.
And so it will most likely be Kev. But if you do want to connect with me, please, Instagram, all these links will be in the show notes. Connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. Or you can email us at any time. Alan@nextleveluniverse.com, spelled just like it sounds. Kevin@nextleveluniverse.com.
Yes. All right. Back to regularly scheduled programming.
All right. So I mentioned this to Kev earlier. I said, brother, I think we should, way back we did interviews. We would interview each other. I think for a little while we did it once a month or something like that. I think we should try to shoot for at least once a quarter, because we evolve so much, we change so much, we grow so much, we learn so much. And we have a very unique vantage point because we work with so many different walks of life, so many different people, male, female, all different countries, all different backgrounds, all different industries, all different, in your case, podcasters, for me, business owners, everything in between, listeners all over the world. And so, one, I think that our listeners can realize you're not alone in a lot of this stuff. And number two, you just notice these patterns. We study all these different things: self-awareness, success, fulfillment, consistency, peak performance. And so every now and then I want to interview each other to kind of get back to baseline of what it really takes to live your dreams. Because underneath this podcast, it's success, it's fulfillment, it's reaching your potential, and it's living your dream. We used to say self-improvement, holistic self-improvement in your pocket every day from anywhere on the planet, completely free, for heart-driven but no BS, for dream chasers. So
You butchered it.
what do you mean?
Absolutely butchered it.
What do you mean? That was pretty good.
No, those are two separate things.
It's all
Self-improvement
the
in your pocket every day from anywhere on the planet, completely free. Boop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Slash heart-driven but no BS holistic self-improvement for dream chasers. Two separate things.
Oh, okay, nice. I just combined them.
Amalgamated them.
Amalgamation. Okay,
Yes.
so anyone who's out there, heart-driven but no BS. Dream chaser. Everyone think of their dreams. Dream relationship, dream body, dream career, dream home, dream car, dream lifestyle, dream environment in terms of where you live. Do you want to live on a lake? Do you want to live on an ocean? Do you want to live in the woods? Do you want to live in the mountains? Do you want to live in a southern climate, northern climate, you name it?
On the moon?
What country?
You want to
You
live on
wanna
the
live- you
moon?
wanna
That's
live on
awesome
Mars?
too. Yeah, that's cool. Whatever.
Whatever.
Who am I? Who am I to tell you?
So, Kev, you were an optimistic-ish dream chaser who saw me on YouTube doing my fitness thing way back.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on the beach talking about fitness. Health, wealth, life, and love was not a thing in terms of my coaching back then. I was the 5 fundamentals of natural fitness: sleep, hydration, nutrition, training, and mobility. And I've since added breath work and supplementation. But ultimately, I was a fitness model, fitness competitor, fitness coach, and you saw my lifestyle and were like, whoa, that looks great. And I had a little podcast. You say YouTube channel. It was going to be a podcast, my friend.
Gonna bees don't produce any honey, son.
Oughta bees, gonna bees, used to bees, and
Shoulda
wanna
bees.
bees. Don't. Shoulda bees.
Shoulda
I don't
bees.
think there are any shoulda bees. I'm getting to the interview, I promise.
I was going to say,
And-
this is the longest introduction maybe ever of all time.
I know. I've lost everyone. No. So, Conversations Change Lives, podcast, gonna be a podcast. You had Hyperconscious Podcast, and I was your first guest. You were my first guest. That's how this whole thing started.
Mhm.
Okay, what did you think dream chasing was back then?
I think I was Jeffed because I assumed you just went from A to Z. I assumed that you had a dream, and then there were probably 5 to 10 big things that happened, and then you arrived at the dream. I think that was kind of what my mindset was at the time. I find when people say, how did you get to where you are? It's so hard because I can give you the checkpoints, but so much of what has helped me, I've probably forgotten. Not in terms of knowledge, but in terms of, somebody asked me one time, they said, hey, what was one of the earliest successes, celebrations of the podcast that helped you understand you were on the right path? And I was like, earliest ones. All right, let me think. And I said, we interviewed, this person was local. They lived in New England. I said, you ever heard of WAAF? And they said, yeah, I've heard of it. I said, you ever listen to the morning show? And they said, no. And I went through the story about Danielle Murr was on this morning show Ellen and I listened to, and we were both huge fans of the show and her. And it would have been a dream come true if we got to interview her.
It was?
And not only did we get to interview her, she invited us to her house, 2 strange men, to her house, and we got to hang out with her, and then she became a client, and then she became a friend, and I talked to her last week on Instagram. And I said we left her house, and we stopped at a beach, and I remember just sitting on the beach crying because of how surreal it was. That was one of the earliest things. But in the grand scheme of things, it didn't matter that much, but it also mattered a ton. I think that's what dream chasing is. Dream chasing is an accumulation of experiences that matter a ton, but also not at all, and way more than you realize, and also drastically less than you realize. That, for long enough, becomes you achieving some version of the dream. I just thought it was, you start at A, and then there's like B, C, D, and then you're at Z. I think that's kind of how because that's how it's kind of shown. You very rarely, and this is why I'm so big on this for us in the podcast, very rarely do you go on the journey with someone from the beginning to the success.
Yeah.
So you don't really get to see what it's like in between. You know someone, this is the issue. You don't know someone at all. You don't know who Taylor Swift is. Then you find Taylor Swift. It's like, oh my goodness, the biggest artist on the planet. Nice. Good for them. No, that's not where they started. Or an actor.
That's a quick come up. It was 14 years for Taylor. 16, really. But even that's quick. That's a quick one.
That's wild. Glenn Powell, my man crush of the season. Glenn Powell. In my mind, like, yeah, he did Top Gun. And now he's Glenn Powell. No, he's probably been acting since he was like 6. You know, he's probably, I don't know how old, I think he's in his 20s or 30s. I have no idea. That's probably 20 years. But of course, nobody knows who he is when he's doing commercials for Snapple. Of course. Nobody knows who he is when he's on Disney Channel or whatever it is. That type of stuff. That's the thing.
My camera's going nuts.
No, it's the lights.
The lighting is going nuts.
What I've noticed is when you bring your hands up, that's what happens. Anytime you raise your hands, the lights go haywire for some reason.
Emilia and I have a saying in our relationship where we feel caged. So whenever we feel caged, we say, I feel caged. I feel caged by the fact that I can't put my hands up. I talk with my hands, man. I feel caged.
You can't.
Gotta let the beast out of the cage.
I don't know why that started happening either. That's a complete and total anomaly. But
dude, there's too many anomalies. Okay, so the Danielle Murr memory. I remember there. I was there. I remember it. Oh man, it's been a day, huh? So reflecting back on that, you said that mattered a ton and not at all. I would challenge you to explain that better.
In terms of external results, I think that's one of our higher listened to episodes, but it's not like it put us on the map or anything. Internally, that was an unlock for me of, okay, what else is possible? This was never possible in my wildest dreams. And we're only, I think she was episode 26 maybe. That was the first year that we were doing this full time. Because I think I only had maybe 10 episodes the first in 2017 when I started it. Stuff like that helps me say, okay, well, this is possible, so maybe that next thing is possible. So internally, it was way more beneficial, I think, than externally.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. But I thought it was going to be all external. A lot of the stuff I thought was going to be mostly internal has been external. And a lot of the stuff that I thought would be mostly external has been internal. And then some things have... The Evan trip going to Toronto, I thought that was going to be all external. That was almost all internal. And then I got a lot of external stuff from it too. But it was internal first, then external. Then the external stuff created opportunity for more internal stuff.
We'll go the opposite. You said that what I thought was going to be external was actually internal first. And then what I thought was going to be internal was actually external first. Evan was which one of those?
Internal. I thought it was going to be external. It was really internal, and then it became both.
Okay. Give me the opposite.
Which is I thought it would be internal, but it was external?
I think so. Yeah, that.
Want therapy for you. Therapy for you. I know it's not me, but I'm a part of it. And I was trying to get you to do therapy for freaking years.
Really? You always say things like that.
Yeah,
and
man.
You didn't try that hard.
I didn't try hard enough. I think I tried hard. Maybe not. I don't know. But I thought I expected that to be internal. I didn't realize how external that would be.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. What else? What
it's
did
been
I
a game
think?
changer.
For sure. What did I think would be internal that was external?
For everyone out there listening, I pay out of pocket for therapy. I was thinking to myself, investing in yourself. I want people to know we are doing that. We invest in ourselves. I've bought more books than I should.
Definitely.
For sure. I bought courses that are... One of my courses I bought was $2,500. You bought a course on how to make a course. That was a lot of money. A mentor helped us with that. But ultimately, I was on a podcast earlier, and I remember saying, why don't I share that? I should share that I'm paying out of pocket for a therapist. I think that's... Yeah. I want to encourage that. That's all. It's been a game changer.
It's different than I expected, for sure.
Same.
I'm trying to think. What else did I think was going to be external? I don't know. I don't know if I have a good example of that. Of the opposite. I don't really know if I have a good example.
So for you probably expect things to be external and they're actually internal?
Yeah.
And I probably expect things to be internal and they're actually external?
Probably. I think because
yin and yang.
I've just been very surprised at the external stuff. The lack of... there have been some things, like when we had, shout out to Catherine Nash, Mini But Mighty, when we had her on for the first episode, I remember when she posted about it on her story, I remember seeing the numbers on the episode just go, 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 go. And I was like, whoa, this is weird. Interesting. Okay. That was something that I think I expected it to be somewhat external, but not as much as it was.
Yeah.
So it's just that. It almost will never be what you expect it to be. Sometimes it'll be the complete opposite, but then you can't just stop because it's not what you thought it was going to be. That's kind of it. That's kind of been the journey. Nothing has really been what I thought it was going to be, but there's been lessons in it that I didn't know I needed to learn yet. Next Level Nation, what is happening? If you've thought to yourself, I want to try coaching, but you don't really know where to start, group coaching would be a wonderful place for you. That's really why we created it in the first place. We start a new round every 90 days. So if you're hearing this, go to the website, nextleveluniverse.com, and we have the landing page where you can actually hold your spot right now. Even if there's a group going on right now, you can still lock your spot for the next one. The biggest thing that we've seen is as we get closer and closer to the date, unfortunately, some people end up missing. The group fills up and they can't do it, and then they end up regretting that. So please head over to the website. The link will be in the show notes, and we would love to see you there.
Well, that's what learning is. It's when the scientific method is you have a hypothesis, which is an unconscious belief about something, and then you try it, and you go, whoa, that's not what I expected. And that's what learning is. So everything was different than you thought.
Still is. Everything's still different than I thought.
But the contrast between what you think and what is lower and lower and lower, right? Like that gap isn't as big.
I don't know. I just finally feel like we're doing stuff right. Some stuff, it's literally like, no, we finally have it figured out. So no, in a way, it's almost like, how did I not know that 3 months ago? It seems so obvious now. How the hell did I not know that 3 months ago?
I know, yeah.
So no, I don't think the gap is getting smaller and smaller. I think, if anything, it seems like it was obvious, and somehow I couldn't figure it out. So the gap might actually be the opposite.
The question becomes, why didn't you know?
Because I hadn't screwed it up for long enough.
Yeah.
I hadn't screwed it up for long enough to realize that was the wrong direction.
Well, there's the conundrum. You used to have something called the confidence conundrum we used to talk about, which is you don't take action, so you don't get results. You don't get results, so you don't get any feedback. You don't get any feedback, so you don't change your belief, right? I butchered it, but
yeah, it's all good.
The point is you just said you haven't screwed it up long enough. And I've been talking about fail forward for 7 years. And I started failing forward 9 years ago. In November, it's going to be 10 years since my car accident, which the car accident's a good place to point to for when I went all in on self-improvement. And I think self-improvement is ultimately what this podcast is about and where all of this, everything we do, has to do with that. Even the podcasts that we produce, most of them are mental health, self-improvement, personal growth, personal development, fitness, right? So that's the one sort of through line, is help you reach your potential. But ultimately, you just said we haven't screwed it up long enough. But in the beginning, you didn't know that was the recipe, is like, go screw it up long enough. And here's the problem. If you start screwing up and you can't consistently show up when you screw up,
yeah, but
you'll never get the breakthrough.
You don't even know you're screwing up. That's the thing, is like, it's not like I consciously felt like I was screwing up and losing. That's not it. It's that you do it long enough and you realize, even in fitness, I still learn stuff. I've been bodybuilding since I was 16. I'm 35 years old. I've been bodybuilding for 19 years. There's still times where I go to the gym and it's like, oh, I've never tried that. Oh my goodness, it feels completely different. I just feel like I'm exercising my chest. I just feel like I have it figured out. Does it mean I've been screwing up the whole time? No, but it means I haven't been doing it as well as I could. I've been missing pieces. That's why it's dangerous. Like I might know a lot about things, but I'm always going to be missing pieces. I'm never going to know everything. There's no such thing. You couldn't possibly know everything about anything. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, there's always a next level.
There's always a next level.
And you
that's
don't
the thing
realize
for me.
how ignorant you were on the previous level until after you get to the next level. But
Yeah,
you
so
can't get to the next level unless you learn how ignorant you are. It's so interesting. And my lights are freaking out again.
Yeah, your lights are freaking out.
You don't even know why.
It must be. Are your shades open?
No. Okay, look, my hands helped.
Your hands help. They took the energy. I'm taking take the heat. That's why it's so hard, because it's gonna be drastically different than you thought. And sometimes when you feel like you're losing, you're winning. Other times when you feel like you're losing, you're losing. Other times when you feel like you're winning. Other times you're not. But if you keep going, you're just going to accumulate so much knowledge. You accumulate knowledge long before you accumulate results. And I think that's a powerful thing about dream chasing that nobody really talks about. I asked, shout out to Sarah, one of my podcast clients. I said, what episodes would you find valuable as a listener? Because she listens to the podcast.
Nice.
And she said, I don't feel like people ever talk about the craft of speaking in podcasting. It's always like, this is how you make money. This is how you get listens. Interesting. The knowledge and the skill comes long before the results do.
Yeah.
That's a good thing for any dream chaser, is get really good at the thing that you want to pursue before you expect results.
Well, the problem is the skill is underneath the result, and you don't know what that skill is. So how much of our success is predicated on our ability to speak effectively? But no one would know that.
Yeah, I can't measure it.
I've been asking this question a lot lately. I want to get back to you, but I've been asking my clients this. I think that every listener would benefit from this. I asked this shout out to Linda. I said, take all the success that you and Matt have had, married couple that I coach, all the success you guys have had, which is significant, put it in one metaphorical ball in your mind. Big ball of success. What's the thing that if you took it out, the ball would shrink the most? That question for you. And don't say me.
One thing?
Yeah.
You're
not allowed to say me.
Me. Yeah, me. I'm the guy. I'm the mastermind behind the
Be
whole
more
thing.
specific.
It's consistency. If I could only choose one thing, it's consistency. If you said one word, that's it, consistency. If I could have multiple words.
Yeah, you can have sentences. Okay,
Sentences?
do a word, and then you can do a sentence, and then we'll do a paragraph, and then we'll do a monologue. No, I'm kidding. And then we'll do an episode.
A freaking novel. A novel. A series of novels. Lord of the Things. It would be sustainability, consistency, improvement. Those three things.
I'm watching with Emilia the Power of Rings on Amazon.
The Power
Prime.
of Rings.
Whatever it's called, the Power of the Rings. It's actually, the second season's awesome.
I'll never watch it.
It's great. Continue. What was it? Sentence.
Sustainability, consistency, improvement. Those are the three.
But you have to go in the right direction. You can't sustainably and consistently improve in the wrong direction, son.
Well, it wouldn't be improving, son.
I could get better at drinking. I've done it before.
Yeah, but that's detrimental overall. Yeah.
I got real good.
You were better
than
than
consistent. It was definitely not sustainable, though.
There you go, right? Yeah, it's got to start from a place of sustainability. I think that's
now do a paragraph instead of a sentence.
You want me to do a freaking paragraph?
Yeah, man.
I didn't even do a sentence.
You got this.
It all started with a dream. And that dream was very specific and very meaningful and very personal. And it meant a lot to me. It was the most important dream I've ever had. I've had a lot of dreams. The most important dream I've ever had. It all started from a place of sustainability. What could I sustainably do as a podcaster? Stage one. Boom. Once I started doing it sustainably, and that involved you and I doing it together, then we focused on, okay, now that it's sustainable, how do we consistently do it? How do we consistently show up and get a little bit better and 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 try something new and evolve and boom, boom, boom. Cool. Now that we're doing it consistently, how do we focus on improving everything? Mics, audio quality, video quality, guests, everything. Everything we do, social media, the way we speak, all that stuff, coaching, how we coach, all that. Then we did that cycle forever. Then every time we do something new, we start from sustainability. Is it sustainable for us to do blank? No, not yet. All right, cool. We're not going to start it yet. Then when we start it, we do the same process over and over and over and over and over again. And then here we are. I'm not done yet. I'm in the middle of a fucking paragraph.
Monologue.
Paragraph. Then you do that for I got us on time. We're good.
Knocking stuff over in
It's
my
all
office.
good. It's all good. Then
Speaking
you
of
do
improvement,
it. You do it for 7 years, and you do it for however many episodes and however many coaching calls, and growing the team and that and then clients and all that, and then eventually you accumulate some level of result. That.
The breakthrough that I had is what we didn't talk about underneath the iceberg of all the results. I was on a podcast earlier, and he asked something about how we've gotten to where we are, and I appreciate the question because we are living our dream. This was at one point a dream.
Right.
All of it. All of this.
Yep.
However, and the part that people don't necessarily know is I haven't taken a day off in 9 years, and that's even before I started working with Kev, and that doesn't mean I work all day every day, blah, blah, blah. The point is that the thing underneath the iceberg, one of the things underneath our iceberg that we don't give enough credit to, and we should start doing that more, is you and I are always strategizing. The strategy. Dude, if you take strategy out of the equation,
That's a great point.
how much of that ball would shrink?
The ball would shrink.
By what percentage? If it's a pie of 100% of results, quote unquote, or dream, the dream is 100%. How much of the dream shrinks when you take away strategy?
90%, probably.
It's wild, right? So that's the thing is, that's why it's so hard. The most boring books are often the most valuable because that's not sexy. Oh, Kevin and I, for every week, multiple times a week for 7 years, sat down together. We did it earlier. We were supposed to record 3 episodes. We just strategized for 3 hours.
Well, strategizing doesn't make you feel good.
No, it makes you have to look at all the things. I often joke with Kev behind the scenes. I say, I think we actually do a lot of stuff really well. That doesn't have to change, so I don't talk about it. I'm talking about the stuff we suck at because we need to improve.
Yeah. Well, strategy is the hardest thing to come by.
Well, what is your take on, last piece, because I know we got to go. What would you say about strategy, this version, old Kev versus this version of Kev? Because if I told Kev that 7 years ago, Kev, you'd be like, what do you mean, man?
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of what I've gotten from learned about strategy has been from you. So I don't know that I would have
Were you a strategist before? Like, did you strategize before?
With some stuff. Yeah, with fitness I did.
Yeah.
It was something I
had results in fitness.
Yeah, it was something I had results, but I also had knowledge where I could help other people. Because when you strategize, you fail. Yeah, that exercise doesn't really work that well. I've tried it. Somebody asked me that the other day about something. They said, "What do you think about this?" And I said, "I wouldn't do that." And here's a list of reasons why. You can do it if you want to try it. I don't think you need to. I can tell you what the lesson most likely is going to be, because that was part of the strategy at one point. That was part of what we were trying. It just, didn't really, or I've seen clients try it, whatever. All strategy is it's taking clarity and giving it legs. All right, I'm clear about what I want. What are the legs that I need to do in order to get me there? That's a strategy. Strategy is just a plan. A dream is great. A dream without strategy is probably a hobby, unfortunately.
Delusional. A dream without strategy is delusion.
Unfortunately. All right, we got to go because you have a coaching call. All right, I started using, Alan was wrong about the date. So anybody who wants to comment about how Alan was wrong on the date, please back me up because I knew there was only 30 days in September.
I'm so sorry, straight up. It's 30 days in September.
He hits me with, dude, I'm a pretty high-level CEO now, and I'm pretty familiar with the days of the month. Wrong. They were incorrect. I started my Next Level Dreamliner today. Today is day 1 because as of recording this, it's October 1st, 2024. And I really will not talk about anything unless I'm doing it. That's just the way I am, and you've noticed I haven't really talked about the Dreamliner in the past because I wasn't using it. This thing is fire. I love it. I'm already super excited. And I'm not just saying this because it's a product that we have and we've created. Shout out to Lizzie and the products team. But this is something I'm looking forward to using every day for the rest of my life. It's on Amazon. It's going to help you be more consistent. It's going to help you have more clarity. It's going to help you strategize. It's going to help you reflect. I think it's very, very worth the price. So I know I told Alan this. I said, yeah, it's a little bit expensive. I think it's $29. But it's for 90 days. So it ends up being like $10 a month. That's 2 coffees. Hold off on 2 coffees a month. You got yourself a Next Level Dreamliner. I think it's well worth the price, and it is something that I am signing my name to. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Speaking of Q4, dialing in for Q4, being on all cylinders in Q4, motivation, inspiration, accountability, all the things, group coaching, it is starting on Tuesday. Now is the time. Reach out to Kevin or myself or Amy. We can send you the email addresses of people that have done it in the past. They'll share their experience with you. This is the time. Sign up. NLU listener promo code. It comes to $96 per month. This is an investment in yourself. We promise you, you will be more motivated, more inspired, more accountable, more on point in Q4. End of the year strong, 2024. We hope you are with us.
As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Please reach out.